Hey everyone. So I am working today. Well, first of all, welcome to Colourisma. Thanks for joining to me. Wow, it's just that kind of day, y'all. Thank you for joining me. I am doing a draw with me. If words, if only words. But yeah, so I will be working on a commission. And if you'd like to work on something, let me know in the chat while I'm working, or if you're watching this later, then you can, let me know in the comments. So, yeah. So I was recently commissioned by someone to work on a image of a duck hitchhiking. So, kind of animals in unusual circumstances are kind of my thing, whether they be like aliens or silly caricatures. I've done a picture of a dog um, standing on its back two legs with actually an inflatable duck tube around its waist and like floaties and stuff. So, it's like really par for the course for me. It's pretty in my wheelhouse. So I got the rough sketch, and then a very specific duck to model after is a greater scalp. I've seen the duck before, but I don't know that I'm pronouncing that correctly because it's one of those words that I've only ever read in my head and I've never said out loud. So that's always fun. But it's a pretty type duck. It's a little bit like a mallard in the sense that its head is green, but it's more like a darker emerald green, where it's in certain lights it's only green shimmery, and then it's got a big patch of white, gray white on the side, and then a dark modeling and barring on the top, leading into darker brown feathers on the tail and wingtips. So very cool looking duck. Bright yellow eye too. Very nice contrast there. Nature knows what it's doing. And yeah, so we're going to make this duck look like it's hitchhiking. Let me get my reference picture up here. There we go. And get that one on that side of the screen. Yeah, so here we go. Get my pen working right. So I don't know if you can see this pen very well here, maybe better against the white background, but this tip tends to kind of shrink within the little casing here. And I fixed it before, but I don't really know how I did it. I just kind of like kept messing with it until it got better. So it's kind of doing the thing again. But anyway, I don't have a great way to show the original photo. I'm actually filming with my phone. The iPad station camera is my phone. So I can't take my phone and then move it very easily. I do have that stand that you got me. It's very wiggly, but so I appreciate that, dear sister who is watching. But yeah, I don't have I can't like it's not a link, so I can't just put it in the chat. It was literally just a reference photo, probably from online. But if I can put the name of the bird in the chat so you can Google it so you know what I'm talking about. It's probably one of the first images that come up. And if you want to, if you find an image online and you want to use that image or post that in the chat, that would work too. All right, lost my reference picture there. Here we go. I have too many tabs open, but that's not news. Okay, so actually getting into the drawing, 4 minutes into this. One day I'd like a setup, like I was looking at that. So the two little yellow lights on the screen are, oh, it's going a lot slower. So anyway, there's two like lights on the screen, and I'd like a setup where that isn't the case. Maybe if I could do like that, I don't know if that's better, but anyway, yeah, that's just like the ceiling, so there's not I can really do about that. So let's get a pencil tool here. I am, if you are tuning in new, then you may not know this, but friends who have seen this stream before know that I'm working on a 4th gen iPad, which is quite old at this point. It's from 2014 or so, and yeah, I'm stuck on the iOS 10 software, so I am not able to have the latest and greatest version of Procreate. If you use Procreate, you'll see like how probably weird and unusual this interface is. This was the interface back in the day, but this is all I have. So hopefully I'm working on getting a new system in the future. So I'm drawing in the head now. The reference photo has the duck really, really small, and I don't know if that was like what they really wanted, or get rid of this other circle here. Typically when you have like a main character on, see the reference that they use for the hitchhiking duck is super cartoony, like more cartoony than even like Daffy Duck. Like Daffy Duck is more realistic than this cartoon, which is fine. But to convert the greater scalp into this cartoon, I don't know. They said they wanted my style though, so. So I'm trying to see, this is where my animal anatomy actually gets in the way of me just creating a good image, because the cartoon duck is cute and it reads immediately, and the anatomy doesn't appear weird because it's so cartoony. It's a hand, but also wings, and it makes sense in cartoon form. But when I'm sitting here going like, here's the shoulder joint, and then here's the upper arm, and then here's the elbow, and then here's this, but then the arm goes back like that, like a regular duck, but in the cartoon it goes up like this, which is totally breaking the anatomy. So like I said, sometimes my naturalist background actually gets super in the way. It's actually more of a challenge than I was anticipating when I took on this commission. It's been a minute since I've been in Procreate, so I'm trying to remember how things work. Nope, 3. Here we go. So the easy solution to this would just be to draw almost the same image as the cartoon reference picture, but just make the coloring, because in the reference picture it's just a white duck. And the easiest thing would be to just translate it and make it into the scalp, which wouldn't be difficult. But they asked for me to draw this, not just to copy this other thing. So come on, bud. What's going on? Draw, please. I don't know. It might be running out of batteries. Sometimes it does that. All right. Well, I'm not going to play that game. I'll do my trusty cupcake stylus here. Very fancy. I will show you here. It's mostly, oh, it's turning silver. The paint is wearing off. I don't know if you can see the little cupcakes there. But yeah, I use this when my fancy $25 pen decides to, like, what are you doing, bud? Like, I don't even understand why it's not working now. Come on. Everything with technology. I joke that technology hates me, and I don't want this to be the case. I don't want technology to hate me. Oh, nothing's working now. Okay, well, that's fun. There's no input that's working. So it's not just, oh man. All right, let me do this off screen. I don't know what you're gonna find. Could be emails and stuff. I just like keeping people's privacy good. All right, iPad, what are you doing to me? You're killing me, Smalls. Oh wow, I don't quit. What are you doing? Are you dying? You had 80% power before I started this. Okay, starting over. All right, back in Procreate. Wow, normally I don't have this much issue. What? Okay, come on. I just want things to work, and the fact that they never do for me this is like an so accurate representation of my life. Like I can't even describe to you how accurate this is to every single aspect of my life. I just want to draw on the thing. This is going to be the episode where Shar has a meltdown and then it gets like 1 million views. Like it won't. I don't know what's happening. Do I have to restart my iPad on live? This is very boring for y'all. Dang. This is so frustrating. See, it works now, just not in the app. Like, am I using the wrong... I'm on pencil mode. I'm not like on an eraser or something, but... Oh, you know what? I'm a dummy, that's why. It was... The color was set to white. So I'm just scribbling all over. And that's also very accurate to how my life goes, because often the solution is just like, I'm just not... Look at all of those attacks. I don't know if you can see all of that scribbling. Okay, all right, calm down. We can get through this. Come on. All right, get that unattractive red out, but we will kind of stick with some kind of background now that that's happened once. Fool me once, iPad. All right. Usually I like to have those kind of outbursts like in private, but I'm glad y'all got to experience some of like my daily real life. So at least if someone had fun watching that, then that's all that matters. My life is a comedy for you to laugh. Okay, all right. Duck time. DuckTales. All right, what are people saying? Yeah, that could be another challenge. Maybe I'll lose my mind again and create something from the ashes of the scribbling next time when I don't have like a very specific just the one in front of me. I am just losing it, y'all. Like really losing it today. So this duck has like a really big forehead. So I'm gonna do a caricature. Like it's not gonna look like it cannot look like a super realistic duck. It just can't. I think maybe it's too big though. It's taking up too much of the real estate on the screen here. So, oh no, okay. There we go. So I'm already going in with way too much detail for the stage of the art I'm in. So let's kind of like calm down on that and maybe work out the composition before I go ham with the duck. See if we can get some more animals referenced in this stream today. All right, try not to jiggle my camera too much here. Sorry about that. It's more wiggly than I thought. I thought it was going to be like very like the arms that I have, the actuated arms that I have for holding other cameras and stuff. But this new one I got is it's interesting. It's different, but it's good. It's just not exactly what I was expecting when I had put it on the list. Okay. So we're going with the interesting crop here for no, I don't like that. There we go. Instead of just doing a straight across landscape, sometimes it's more interesting. I always tend to go from like the lower left side of the canvas and then up, and I just like that tilt. I don't know. I like it. I think a lot of people tend to do that. So he's got to look like he's on the side of the road. So got to like carve out this area where the duck is going to be to make it interesting. And then the car, they want a car. I didn't realize I signed up for drawing a car. I could make it look like my car. Right there. That will be a car, that circle. And then, nope, not going to do that to me again. See, that's what happened. When you're not using that great of stylus or an old iPad, maybe new ones don't do this. Yeah, okay, so this one works fine now. I don't have to use Cupcake. And you hold like you just let it sit for too long. I don't know. It did it before. It does it worse with the Cupcake stylus than it does with this pen one, which is why I like it more. But yeah, if you hold it onto the screen too long, then it will mess up there. Okay, so now I can draw duck, make it interesting in and this is all for an inside joke too. So if you don't really get it, it's fine. I don't either. No, I wasn't saying upload the photo. I was saying get the URL for the photo and then just copy the URL into the chat if you wanted to. And then that would be saved for anyone else who was going through the video and wanted to see the duck. So this is like way more cartoony than I usually do for my style. But it's an interesting challenge. It's different, you know? There's also like a random fire hydrant in the reference cartoon. I'm not going to copy that. It seems too random for me. But they wanted the duck to hitchhike, so you got to do these like feather fingers thing. That might be too much, but I want to get that hitchhiker thumb going. Nope. There we go. So I've been doing a lot of animation lately in a different app called, mine just blanked on it. Nope. This is the other thing. It's also really hard to maneuver. Flip a clip. That's it. Thank you, brain. And Flip a Clip is slightly different than Procreate in some ways. So my brain is like, well, that's not how you do it, with all these like simple commands like moving and stuff. And then the other day I was actually trying to do some of Procreate's commands in Flip a Clip, so my brain is just all over the place. Okay. So I got these feather fingers here. They look super weird in this style, but we'll work on that. And then I don't have a good picture of the legs, so I'm gonna actually have to do a boring Google search here. I say boring because I know me looking up stuff on my computer while I'm live streaming is not super interesting for y'all. Sorry. I'm looking for what their legs look like, and they're all in the water, so I don't know. Oh, okay, there's one. Oh, there is one flying. All right, so typical duck. Feet, kind of gray with, it looks like little barring on their little leggies there. This might be like too much perspective compared to the little other drawing here. Let's move this over. Oh no, where's my drawing? There it is. Okay. All right. I think it would be better if I move the duck up. Here's me wishing I was drawing the duck on a different layer than the background. There we go. I want to get his whole little body in there. I think a little bigger. So I'm looking at a lot of different things while I'm resizing him. I'm trying to, like, if I made him really big, but then that obscures so much of the road, and I'm trying to show the road. That one's pretty good. But I'm also trying to not create like a million tangents. That's not too shabby. I like that. Okay. All right. Might be time to start separating this duck character from the background here. I'll do that now. And then I'll draw in the background again. There he is. Okay, get working on this background. Alrighty. So I don't know if it is where you are, where you're listening to this from, but it's got a bit of a cold snap here in the south, so it's been definitely chilly trying to survive without propane heat at the moment. I actually have heat, have propane, I should say, and I have a working furnace, but I need to get someone in and check for me that there's no gas leak. And given the whole COVID situation, I'm not really looking forward to having just people come into my living space any more than I have to. And I'm trying to be extra cautious so I can actually, you know, quarantine myself away from everyone so I can go visit my family safely for Christmas. So that means I'm going to be very cold for most of December. I figure I'll get the propane situated in January. When I can not have to worry so much about going and visiting to the peoples. So yeah, so I'm trying to have a bit of the road come out here, and then I want every part of the character to kind of not be a tangent with the road. So I'm drawing through in the background to make sure that's not the case. And that's on that layer. So I'm going to boop. Then I'll make the beak come out like that. There we go. Alrighty. So I think his little duck arm is out too far. Don't love that. I mean, I like the general pose, but it doesn't make sense anatomically speaking, even for a cartoon. Okay, I don't love this lasso tool in Procreate. I will say that much. At least not this version of it. Maybe it's better in different versions. There, that's better. So the Road framing his little duck hand, feather hand, wing thing. Pretty good right there. So I like that. And it's also like more accurate to his little duck anatomy. So this other wing appendage is going to look kind of like the super cartoony, but I kind of have to make it look that way. Because he's going to be holding his little bundle stick. You know how you do when you're hitchhiking. Aw, he's kind of cute now. He's getting there. Yeah, I might have mentioned this in this. I might have mentioned this in other casts and other Draw With Me's and such, but I am planning on getting the latest iPad that hasn't even been released yet, because I would like to get the 2021 iPad, because as you can tell, I keep my technology for just as long as I possibly can, and I probably won't get rid of this iPad even if I get a new one. I might use it for conventions in the future as like an email list, so people can sign up with their emails and join my mailing list effectively. And I could use this iPad for that. So I like I cannot talk today. I have spoken in the past week. It doesn't seem like it, but I have. But yeah, so I like holding on to my technology. I don't like getting the latest hardware. Is like software, yes, update away. I like software updates. But I don't like this like wasteful, let's get new hardware every week thing that we have going on in the world right now. It's not my favorite. So I want these hands to make some kind of sense, even within like sense in the world that I'm creating and the design that I'm doing. And right now it doesn't quite work. Like, the hand holding this little bindle, which I'll draw right here to kind of that's another way I could do it. I could just make it look like that. I kind of like that idea better. Where it's like a normal wing, but he's like, it's like tucked within his wing. Yeah, I like that better. We're doing that. The commissioner may not like it, but I'm going to do it this way until I'm told otherwise. So drawing through, that would land there. Like, what does a duck got to carry with him, you know? Some, like, pond moss. some crackers that he found, popcorn. What do ducks like to eat? I like his little face is turning out to be pretty cute. I like the little dished face and the big forehead. It's kind of Disney-esque, but it is cute. Look at his little, another image to look at his like bill shape. There we go. I don't know if he's supposed to be happy about hitchhiking, but in like the reference photos, they look like they have this like little tiny devious smile. So I want to try to capture that a little bit. There. I think I'm going to do a rough color in just so I can get the character separated away from the background, because sometimes it confuses me with all these like lines drawn through. So I'll get the rough colors. Oh, not with that, I'm not. There we go. So tiny. Yeah, that's better. So they're like mostly a dark kind of saturated, deep charcoal gray color with, like I said, this green. There's a big thing of white on their side, and then they have, it goes into like really desaturated kind of brown here that looks really nice with the gray and the green there. And then I'll work on the barring there. Is that the wing? Or just, it's so, I think that's the side. I think it's this little, it's hard to tell when their wings are all tucked up what the anatomy is. Because there's like this big thing of white on the side. And I can't, like, the wings are so tucked in so perfectly that I can't make out the outline of the wing. So I don't know which part is wing and which part is like his body. And of course, it's really hard to tell in pictures without the wings open. Finally found some that have their wings open. Still not great. Like it's still difficult to tell. All right, that might be a decent one. So I got one with them in flight, and it shows the side being white. So I guess it's hard to tell. Let me get that other picture. I gotta like build this 3D map of what this animal looks like in my mind. Oh, where did that other image go? Dang. I found one that was a nice image of the underside of the wing, and then I had another one of the outer wing, and now I can't find it. Like I said, I know this is riveting for y'all to watch me searching the internet. But this is how it goes a lot of the times. I just need the outer side of the wing. Come on, duck photographers, work with me here. Nobody, where was that image? I can't find it again. I just clicked it. Where'd it go? But yeah, reference is like super important, and this is what actively getting reference for your artwork looks like. It's very boring to watch. Typically, when you look at a lot of people working on art and stuff, there's a reason why they already did the sketch, because this is what all of the sketch stage involves. It's like I said, it's very boring. I mean, maybe I'm not trying to be boring. Maybe this is very interesting. I'm just worried that it's boring to people, which is why I keep saying that. Oh, there it is. There it is. Haha, gotcha, bud. There you are. Right, put that in a new tab so I can reference it easy. There. Okay. Not a Pinterest image. I hate those. I just want the image. There. Okay. Okay. So I don't know that this is going to be exactly accurate, but I think I'm going to do like the lower part of the wing, that kind of grayish white color, just to kind of like read as this type of duck, because it's like I'm working in a million different things in my mind, and then I've got to try to explain it out loud, and it doesn't always flow all that nicely. But there's a lot of things I consider when I'm going into one of these images, and part of it, a lot of it, is adjusting the anatomy to fit the expectations of the image, and fudging the anatomy sometimes in order to meet those expectations, because sometimes when you know it's a particular type of bird that you're looking at, and it doesn't have like that white flash of, feathers on the side there, when that's what you're expecting, then it may not read correctly to people who are in the know. And if somebody knows enough about this duck to specifically request this duck in particular, they're going to want to be able to read those features very easily. So effectively, what I'm clumsily describing is called artistic license. That's what they're talking about, is where you have to adjust reality to fit the expectation. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, is that I can share the experience of various stages of art with people, and, explain my thought process going through it, and hopefully people can understand and either relate to it or learn from it, and understand, that all the effort that goes into it. There might be an easier way to do this, but in this version of the app, I'm not sure that there is. So I'm just kind of erasing the boundaries. I don't have like really tight line work yet, but I'm just trying to get the base boundaries of my creature. And then I'm going to fill up in the background with colors to make sure that they don't clash with all the different colors going on with this guy. So I'm going to actually duplicate. So I like doing this to easily fill in. So the brush I like using is called, for painting, is the wet flat brush, but it's not a very opaque brush. It's very transparent and see-through. So in order to make it more opaque, less see-through, I duplicate and then I merge down a couple times, and that does a pretty good job of making the colors really solid without me having to do a bunch of extra work. Also, I can see all the little bits that I missed here on the sides a lot more clearly. Get all these erased away here. And some of these are just residue from the sketch stage, so that's why I'm going to have to go in and clean up the sketch a little bit more. I don't want to get too much further along in this process because this is a commission. This is about the stage that I would show someone. This is about the stage that I would want to show the commissioner before moving forward with the art, because if they don't like what I did here with the wing, if they don't like that, then there's no point in me highly detailing or rendering all of that out just to have to redo it. I am going to, again, wrong brush. Go ahead and make it more clear what that wing is doing. That he is holding that bindle with his wing, just kind of, because I did go off script, as it were. I'm using air quotes, off script from the cartoon reference image, which I was not given instruction as to whether to follow that precisely or not. I suspect that it wasn't like a hard and fast, like, definitely do it, definitely follow it, but and I know I'm making these little wing finger things super cartoony, and that is on purpose. And I need to make that look like the tail and not like the wing. There. So that's like to me, that's like a decent amount of blending realism with cartoony. Like, does it meet realistic standards? Not exactly. But is it so cartoony that people can't even tell what species it is? No, you can still tell. If you know ducks, you know a greater scalp when you see one. Just making us feel a little bit more flat there in perspective of the image. So the image in the cartoon is just like very tan and plain. So I'm going to start with that as a base, which is pretty much what I've got going on here with this background color anyway. But I'm going to maybe make it a little bit more interesting. I'm not sure. Is that an igloo? This might be too inside of a joke. I might have to include these other elements because it's part of the joke that I'm not fully aware of, but we'll find out. Get back to the painting brush. But yeah, I like to get, like I said, get to about this level because it's a decent amount of detail that someone who is not either very artistic or is, even if you are artistic, sometimes it's really hard to tell someone's vision from like a base sketch. So I want to basically get it conceptually like 90% done. Like the concept is all there, but the details aren't. Like that's the only thing that's missing, which is, you know, the thing that takes the longest to do anyway. So actually in the image that they have for the cartoon, and I know it's a cartoon and I know it's drawn in a cartoon style, so whatever about all that logic, but they actually have the mountains really, really dark in the image. And so when you look at it, your eye immediately goes to this big block of mountains in the back, and it almost ignores the foreground, which is the main character, which is this like white duck. So I find it interesting that that they did that, because actually the further things are, like mountains that would be this far away in this image, are actually going to be less contrasted. They're going to be further away, and what they call that is atmospheric perspective, where the literal atmosphere of, you know, the planet is getting in the way between your line of sight and that object. So I'm going to pick this color, go slightly more contrasted. And because this one is behind that one, I'll make it lighter, even lighter than this one here in front. In fact, I'm going to take this one and kind of lighten it up here. I've actually been getting advertisements on Instagram for this type of silicone like tip for one of these pens, so it doesn't constantly make that little tapping sound when you're drawing. I'm thinking about it. They're like $15, $20 or something though for a pack of 3, and it just seems like a lot for what it is. So I haven't pulled the plug on it yet, but, and of course they only show like Apple pencils with it. And I guess this would be about the same. Like I imagine it would be the same. So that's something it's just, I don't want to say it's a limitation of this app, but definitely a limitation with my skill level with this app is that in Photoshop I could do this like so easily, but I'm just having like a bit of a challenge getting the colors the way I want here. But, you know, just keep trying, keep messing with it, and you'll get it. So I'm going to do a little bit of that to kind of break up the difference between these two mountain ranges here. I'm hoping with the new Procreate that it works even better than this version and is more like the experience I would have with a desktop, because I wouldn't mind having a totally mobile workstation, so I could kind of sit in a more comfortable position while I work a whole bunch. So given the whole atmospheric perspective thing, we're still going to want the background to be more faded, as it were, compared to the foreground. So I think we're going to go with a desert, because I think that's what's depicted here in this image. So we're going to still do like tans and golds for the desert. There we go. And it's like really saturated right now, but I'm just getting the colors in for the moment. I might fix this. This seems like a little off, this perspective here of the road. I might work on that there. I don't think that's super accurate. I might make that wider. So you want your foreground colors to be the most, well, you don't always want this, but for an image like this, and what I want for this image is for the foreground colors to be the most saturated, the most contrasted, compared to like what's going on in the background. And I might do a layer. Here, let me fix that one thing with the road before I forget about it. Time is it? Okay. Got about 10 more minutes. Can get a solid sketch before that time. Geometry, as far as like human-made things, is not my forte. So this might be a giant duck in this perspective. Like, I feel like the road should probably be taking up a lot more of this space in order to make sense. Let's see if I can. I still like the way that it might be a little bit too much tangent. I'm trying not to do that either. It might be like an inferred line instead of like an actual 100% drawn line there. There we go. I think it's a little bit better. I don't mind how far away he is from the road now. I wish he was a little closer, but let's make that a little bit more smooth. There we go. And let's change the background to match. And then the road itself will just be like that gray. I don't want it to be in conflict with the gray of our duck friend here. So I will pick, well, sometimes when I want something to not be in contrast with something, I'll start off with that color and then I'll just like go to like a different end of the spectrum and then just pick something like that's not going to clash. See, that's a little too light. It doesn't even read as gray. That's a little better. It's not too different from this background here. And I might do a gradient too, so it gets darker here at this foreground. It'll make it look a little bit more interesting too, because this like whole corner here just has like nothing. It's what we artists call white space, even though it's not really it's not actually white. Yeah, I'll make it a little bit more contrasted because I just don't want the gray of the road that is right next to him, like right next to that dark gray area right here, to be like super. I want there to be a contrast there. Like I want it to read lighter here at his neck and beak, and it can be darker down here because then it'll draw the eye through because your eye tends to follow contrast. Like this iPad, or not iPad, but this Procreate version is so old, I don't even know what would happen if I got new brushes for it. I don't know that I could even use them. I don't think I would be able to. So these are like all the whatever's just default with the program. And I am somebody who loves digital brushes. I used to be quite the collector. I had all of Kyle brushes for the duration, the entire duration before that got, you know, integrated into Photoshop for many years. And then I went on DeviantArt a bunch and collected like all the brushes I could there. You know, I only would use like 2 or 3 different brushes, but I had thousands. The important thing is I could have had more brushes. So I'm looking at the display here on the computer, and it is so much darker than the way it's reading on my actual screen. Come on, bud. So I'm going to increase the brightness and see if that actually improves anything. I'm not sure if it will. And I'm going to... I wish I could make the brush even bigger. Like, this is the highest setting. This is as big as it can go, and it's not that great. I'll lower the opacity. Nope, it's still reading like super... It's better, but it's still reading pretty dark. I don't really know how to do lighting. Like for streams and stuff, I don't really know like how to light an iPad screen so you can see it very well as the audience. I don't think I've done a lot of color work on the stream before on my iPad, so. See, this smudge tool is just not doing what I want it to at all. Okay. So I will probably play with this a little bit more after I get feedback from the commissioner to see how they like it. To make sure that they like what I've done so far. Before I try to spend too much more time on it. And the thing I do like about Procreate though is you can save it as like a PSD or whatever and then pop it over into Photoshop or Clip Studio or whatnot and make adjustments and everything in those apps, which is nice because I am very limited by what I can do with this particular. Oh no, I definitely did all of that on the wrong layer. You know what? It's fine. Merge down. That's the background layer now. That's what we're doing. I would be a little bit more upset if that was the, like if I merged the background with the character layer, but if it's all the background anyway, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to desaturate here. I'm going to see. Screen or overlay? Let's try overlay. Come on, bud. Overlay, please. Overlay. There you go. There. Okay. There's no fill tool, is there? Ooh, that's a lot. There we go. Ugh, I don't like that. That's ugly. I like it on the mountains, but I don't like what it's doing to the background. Ew. Okay. Let's see at what light. Nope, that's yikes. Okay. Yeah, these definitely don't act like typical layers. Hmm. So now it looks foggy, and that's not the effect I was trying to go for. I was just trying to like lighten it up a little bit. But you can tell, at least even though this isn't the exact way I want this to be depicted, you can definitely like tell how much this duck's head like pops out of the picture compared to the background. Like the background is definitely like faded and pushed backward, and this duck seems like it's like really grounded, and in fact it's so grounded and contrasted that this background being so light and not contrasted makes it look like a sticker that's just been put on there. So that kind of tells me that I definitely need to bump up the contrast here down where the duck is. Yeah, we'll go with this. I don't typically love airbrushes too much, digital airbrushes, but oh, are we on the wrong layer? Nope, I moved. Okay. I might do the like yellow lines indicating different sides of the road. Though if this is like some random background road, a lot of them don't actually have lines on the road. So I might just leave it. The reference doesn't have lines, so. I'll need to like reference some like dirt and stuff, but I think it looks not great, but a little bit better. Here, a little bit grounded. I'm gonna actually pop in some even more deeper shadows right here at the base where the duck is standing. Not super realistic yet as far as like the way the shadow looks, but just trying to, like I said, just trying to ground him in the scene for right this second. Just enough to get the point across, and then I can work it out to make it actually like look good once I get feedback from the commissioner to make sure this is what they want. Because they might just be like, no, the duck's way too big, make it way smaller. And then if I like spend hours working on this particular background on the way the duck is like standing right here, right now, then that will just be like a waste of time. So it's important to just kind of like realize how much to do and how much, I don't know why I keep saying how much, and when to just wait on details, especially when it comes to commissions. I don't do like a lot of commissions anymore, but for friends or people who have commissioned me in the past, it's kind of what I'm sticking with. So we're a little over on time, but I just wanted to at least get it to this stage before I wrapped it up. I appreciate you for watching and for checking out Colourisma. I say this every week, but I'm going to email some more people to see if I can't get some more interviews going. I probably will not be able to book anyone until the new year. I imagine everybody's so busy right now with all the holidays and December going on and just with everything. So I will let you know. I will still be streaming every week, every Tuesday throughout December, and I will catch y'all next week with probably another draw with me. But go ahead and follow me on all the socials. You can find me at Colourisma everywhere. And if you are really inspired by what I'm trying to do here as far as create a community that cares about the passion of artists and making that passion into a profession, then go ahead and check out patreon.com/Colourisma, and you can help support the community every single month there. So thank you for watching again, and I will catch y'all next week. Bye.